Good morning, everyone. Kate Bora and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's Facebook Live, where we're digging in the conversation around setting goals, making plans for the new year. I've got all my A3 paper out. Fee introduced me to A3 paper and looking at projects for 2023 and starting to really dig in and feel into for me, what my word or what my main focus is for 2023. And I think, Fee, a lot of the work that we do around this, we love it. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do, the planning, because you start to create and ideate about the potential of next year. And so I always think the close of a year and the opening of a new one brings hope, which is always exciting. But I think, while it sounds, goal setting and all of that sort of stuff, it sounds quite transactional. It sounds quite easy. We know the work that we do with clients, this actually can be challenging, painful, confronting for a lot of people.
Yes, I think the idea sounds like I should just be able to do it. And yet, when we're working with clients, when we're working with groups, it's very often we hit a lot of resistance to being willing to agree on something, to set myself up, to actually put a line in the sand and say, this is what I'm going to go for in the following 6 or 12 months. And there's something really powerful about being willing to do that. And what we notice around clarity is quite often, it feels hard. It feels like, but what happens if, and we start to second guess ourselves, even before we've agreed on something, we're starting to worry about, will I be able to achieve that? What will happen if I don't? It gets so slippery setting goals and being willing to just lean into the discomfort of maybe I will and maybe I won't, but not having focus is actually worse. We know that when we don't have something we're clear about and we don't know what we're going for, anything can happen. And then we often feel like, oh, another year or another couple of years has gone by and I haven't actually advanced. And so despite the discomfort, we're often coaching people through getting that clarity around what is it that if things were to go well, if I was to stretch myself a little bit, if I was to take those small acts of confidence regularly, by the end of the year, a whole lot in my world would have changed. And I'd be really excited about that.
Yeah, I think, when we think about the how of this, I tend to just circle around it, right? I've got pieces of paper on the floor, something will drop in, I'll pick it up, I'll add it on. I co-created over a period of time. Often I start at the end of November thinking about it and getting pieces down in some of my journals. Now I've got papers up and we're starting to build on those and start to really lean. So I'm allowing it an iterative process as opposed to I sit down and I do it. And what happens is our unconscious really then starts to pay attention to information, to things and join some dots. So I think having an iterative process is what works for me. And really using all of our intelligences. We talk about the 4 intelligences in our book called Confidence, and really starting to leverage that from gathering information to support you in gaining that clarity, because there is no question through all of our work that we have done, clarity is the most important piece when it comes to achieving your goals in context of career and life, right? Because we are now able to focus on what we want for that period of time. I think once you get clear, the second important piece, and we talk about both of these nearly every conversation, every day, every week, clarity and fear, is to think about what are the roadblocks. Because the reality is, if you're clear and there is a clear path and plan way forward, it's easy for you to action. We just execute on that goal, right? It is pretty straightforward. It's when there are roadblocks in the way that for whatever reason make it difficult for us to pursue our goal that things can go a little bit haywire. And I think the really important distinction and conversation that we have with our clients when we're talking about goals for whatever period at the time is we ask you to think about the roadblocks and red flags at the point of setting the goal, right? At the point of setting the focus or intention. Because immediately what happens is you're set up to start to think about, how do I navigate around those roadblocks? How do I develop and build a plan that actually incorporates into those roadblocks, those red flags, so that when I come up against them, I'm not surprised, disappointed. uncomfortable because I actually have had some thinking around this. I've been a little bit proactive. I've gone, oh, that's right, I knew about this. And I think that's a really important part, and really where people tend to get tripped up, Fee.
Yes, yeah, I love this, and it's really been beautiful to notice people as we go through the coaching process, as we work with them, for you can actually see the lights coming on as they start to get clear. What's my specific roadblocks? What are the things that are likely to trip me up in this process? This is not necessarily the same for everybody. There are some common themes that we see, but the way they play out can be quite individual, in the sense that, if you know you're someone who, you'd love to achieve your goal, you'd love to get there, but you also know you can be quite a procrastinator, for instance. You tend to put things off. You like going towards it, but you find yourself shying away as well. If you're someone who finds it really hard to ask for help, that's often really important in being able to achieve our goals, is who's going to be on my team? How am I going to get the support that I need as I move towards this goal? And there can be, we can get filled with worry and concern. Things like, self-doubt and inner critic can come up. There's lots of ways that we can be taken off path, even though we know what we'd like to do. And I think the work here is by flagging that early, by starting to dig in a little bit around what goes on for me, what are the things I found in the past have prevented me from achieving all I'd like to. It really focuses us in and helps us, as those things arise, we go, our brain is already prepared in a way. Our brain is already caught, oh, this could happen for me. And so when it happens, it's not so much of a surprise. It's more like, okay, here I am. And now I know what I need to do in these circumstances, and I'm willing to do that. And once we have the evidence of that, of course, it makes it easier the next time something comes up, and we start to build the resilience and the ability to navigate through things that previously would have held us back.
Yeah, I think there's lots of layers in this. In theory, it sounds like it should be easy, but we know actually for many of us, the work is here, right? The work is in clarity. The work is in redefining our relationship with fear and failure. And I was just pulling back copies of the book, right? Because chapter 1 is get clear. Chapter 2 is set goals and take action. And of course, chapter 10 is face fear. And so I think starting to layer in and lean into some of these conversations, if our work resonates with you, go and listen. There's years now of Facebook Lives that you can dig into around clarity and fear. Get a copy of the book as a resource for you to start to, unpack some of what's going on. And of course, if and when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, we'd love to connect with you on our Facebook page and see you in one of our many events. And of course, our signature program, Acts of Confidence, which really supports women to navigate through some of the roadblocks and red flags that come up when it comes to achieving their goals in career and life. So take care, everyone. That's it from us. We will see you next week.